So job report numbers came out this morning, and right before I started stream, it's actually caused a lot more drama than I was anticipating. So this is going to be kind of fun to talk about. On YouTube, best membership on all of YouTube, where you get 3 premium shows posted every single day, Monday through Friday. Submit that proof of purchase right here at hammerelite.com. I will send you a $10 digital gift card that covers that purchase, our way of doing a free trial that you can spend anywhere and in most countries. Today is the last day to do it. Thank you to everyone. We're already at 88 out of 100. You guys are incredible. So let's talk about this. So U.S. hiring slowed sharply over the summer. Let's talk about it. It's interesting because we actually had quite good GDP news. We got Q2 saw 3% year-over-year GDP growth, which is good. Now we're seeing a little more negative unemployment or job increase numbers. Technically, we still had job gains for what it's worth. It is better than job losses, but we also had some pretty negative revisions, and you can see since 2022 kind of the trend we're going in. Only good news, because of the negative data, mortgage rates are going down because they're, even though it's not directly tied to the Fed rate, they're expecting, okay, negative news is going to give us some interest rate drops at some point through the rest of the year. GDP was just pulled forward. Keep that in mind. Exactly. Trump fired the person who reported the numbers. We'll talk about that in just a second, but U.S. job growth slowed in July, a signal that pockets of weakness that had been marring the labor market are starting to take hold. Ooh, dramatic. The U.S. added a seasonally adjusted 73,000 jobs in July, the Labor Department reported Friday, below the gain of 100,000 that economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had expected to see. Revisions cut down the job growth originally reported for May and June by a combined 258,000, which is, believe it or not, a large fucking number. That left May as having added just 19,000 jobs and June just 14,000 jobs. In a country of 300 million people, also believe this one or not a big number. Those revisions are nuts. Yeah, it's pretty wild. The unemployment rate rose slightly to 4.2% from 4.1%. So not a substantial raise, but is that what we want to see? As a human, no. As an advocate for hopefully lower rates at some point, maybe. The number of people unemployed for 27 weeks or longer increased to 1.83 million from 1.65 million in June. That's obviously certainly not good. That increase in the ranks of the long-term unemployed could be a reflection of an environment where layoffs have been low, but companies have been reluctant to hire, making it harder for people without work to find employment. And we know that is for a statistical fact of the fact that, again, as we brought up the last few streams, those graduating college with a college degree now have a higher unemployment rate than the overall unemployment rate because job market is a little soft right now. And this is kind of backing that up. The healthcare and social assistance sectors accounted for a large share of new jobs, which is interesting because, as we have also talked about, the largest sectors for unemployment in this country, or the largest sector for layoffs, 1, federal government has been the largest sector, 2, tech. So social assistance sectors, that's interesting. Those sectors tend to do well no matter how the economy is doing. Federal government layoffs continue to drag on payroll, with that sector losing 12,000 jobs. Revisions have been consistently negative in 2025, with the Labor Department lowering its initially reported job count every month through June. For June, the job numbers that were most notably much lower than originally reported were in state and local education. That's interesting because I know in a city like Austin, Texas, where I am right now, we have a high teacher demand. We have a lot of openings right now. They're closing schools because there aren't enough teachers. Is it DEI and office jobs that are on the way down, or useful jobs too? Lots of federal layoffs like Department of Education getting cut and whatnot. As CPA, I can't recommend the security in pay and accounting, specifically tax accounting, heavily contextual information dependent, so difficult for AI to replace. We'll see, man. None of us know what's on the other side of the AI hill. When the June unemployment report was released a month ago, it had shown an increase to 63,500 state and local education jobs. Economists at the time said that was likely a flunky gain attributed to seasonal swings in school employment that the Labor Department can struggle to adjust for. The revised figures took that June job gain down to 7,500. That's a big fucking, that's insane. How do you have to revision that much? That's fucking crazy. The recent trend in downward revisions could reflect the fact that not all businesses responded to the Labor Department's monthly employer survey in time for the initial report. Now that we have HR, we probably are. I'm sure we have. Is that a legal requirement? I'm sure we have. Is that a legal requirement? I don't know. Okay. Those that do are more likely to be large, well-capitalized, and seasoned. Later responders might be less equipped to handle challenges such as high tariffs and the sharp downward in the supply of immigration labor. As their responses come in, the numbers get revised lower. Stock features traded lower early in the morning after President Trump announced a raft of tariffs late Thursday. Yeah, but also tariffs delayed. Tariff delay announcements yesterday as well, right? Canada and Mexico. Stocks continued to fall on Friday. Yeah, the market's not great today. Great. Yeah, we're getting diddled. We're getting diddled today, but that's okay. It's still great year over year, right? The weak job report is likely to fuel bets on the Federal Reserve rate cuts, and that's why we're seeing mortgage rates go down today. Went down from about 7 to 6.5. The job market looks significantly worse today than it did before this report, said Jed Kolko, a senior fellow at the Person Institute for International Economics. Slow payroll growth hasn't kept up with those looking for jobs, he said, even as the population growth has also slowed. Wells Fargo senior economist said July's report suggests that some of the fears about risks to the labor market that Fed Chair Jerome Powell highlighted at Wednesday's Fed meeting might be coming to fruition. There have been a lot of points of concern, said House. She pointed to a variety of factors. A huge share of hiring came from just few industries. Average weekly hours worked remained relatively low, and people are remaining unemployed longer. Well, we did see that number. I think things are only going to weaken from here, said House. Yes, you're still adding jobs, but not everyone can work in healthcare or education. True. Tariffs are pieces of the puzzle, she said, but not the only factor at play. Okay, but then what we saw today, of course, right before we went live on stream, is... So in this article, here we go. President Trump said he directed his team to fire the top Bureau of Labor Statistics official after the Bureau issued a weak job reports on Friday. That's pretty fucking wild. That's some big news. After a job report gets posted. The report weighed on the markets Friday, along with Trump's revamped tariff plan. So, here we go. Trump orders. Okay. Trump, in a social media post, said Erica McCantor, the BLS commissioner, would be replaced with someone much more competent and qualified, asserting without evidence that the government's job numbers have been manipulated for political purposes. The July jobs report undershot forecasts suggests the economy added just 106,000 positions over the past 3 months, although unemployment stood at 4.2, which is up by 4.1, as we recently just covered. The dollar sank while Treasury had the fucking dollar this year, man. Kill me. Treasury yield dropped and the Dow Industrials shed more than 1.2%, or 542 points. And the VIX, which is a market volatility index, shot higher. After the report, investors ramped up bets. Listen, if we have a nice little fucking downswing like we had at the beginning of the tariff, the amount of money I made at that fucking tariff drop was incredible. Incredible! Listen, because it sucks, right? I hate advocating for the market going down because it's a selfish thing, because I know I'm going to make more money by buying in at the bottom. It's a selfish thing because I know market going down mean quick bumps in stock market for companies is often easiest to do with layoffs. So people get hurt. People that are starting to retire and the market is down are getting hurt. So it is hard to be selfish about it and like cheer on a nice little slump so that you can invest in stuff. All I know is pretty much all of us in chat missed being able to invest in that 2008 crash. But man, the amount of money that was made there was fucking crazy. On tariffs, trading partners, including Switzerland and Taiwan, they said it would keep trying to negotiate with the White House. Switzerland faces the 39% tariff rate. What are we importing from Switzerland? Higher than the 31% floated in April, while Taiwanese goods will be levied at a 20% rate. I assume, Taiwan semiconductors. Yeah. President hiked the levies on Canadian goods that don't comply with North America trade agreement to 35% starting today. What? I thought there was a delay in the Canadian tariffs. Mexico and Canadian tariffs, I thought. Did I miss that? Countries that run a small trade surplus with the U.S. will largely get 15% duties, while those with deficits will have a 10% tariff. Trump gave Mexico more time to set a trade deal and avoid higher tariffs, extending the current rates by 90 days. Oh, extending the current rates by 90 days. Amazon shares sold off 8.3%. Shit. Woo! Listen, that's a company I'd throw money into. I mean, fucking AWS. Crazy. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, something in the world of jobs. I mean, this is just an eight days ago, CBS News. I mean, just job loss anxiety is just plaguing people like crazy. Yeah. No, it's La Boo Boos. It's everything La Boo Boo.
Let me guess. You're just using an investing app that doesn't invest in you. It is time to change that. Right now, Weeble is offering up to a 3.5% match when you open an IRA with them. That is real money going into your retirement, not just points or coupons. And that's just the start. Deposit $100 and you get 30 days of Weeble Premium. Anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 sitting around in your account, move it to Weeble and get $200 in cash. And if you worked your way up to $5 million, that's $30,000 in your account just for moving it over. It is not just about the perks though. Weeble provides the tools that serious investors want as well. TradingView integration, real-time data, zero commission trades. It actually works on all your devices. And now through September 30th, you can stack even more. Get a $100 cash bonus for a $2,000 deposit, plus a 2% cash back on all deposits, and a 30-day premium voucher, and a 4% APY booster on any uninvested cash. It doesn't get better than this, so stop overpaying for a platform that gives you nothing back and make the switch to Weeble. Go to Weeble.com/K/Caleb or hit the QR code or the link below. Let's get back to the show.
Wow, everything La Boo Boo.
Welcome back. If you're concerned about keeping your job, you are not alone. Job loss anxiety is rising for some in the American workforce. This is according to a new survey out this morning from Bankrate. 27%
Yeah, let's see. 27% of people more worried about job security. Yeah, head into a recession. Absolutely. That's what gives the employers an upper hand now versus the employees that we saw a couple years ago. 15% less worried about job security. Only 15%. 42% level of worry about job security hasn't changed. Well, that's good. I mean, that's half of people, right? Never worried about job security. Oh, well, this is actually surprisingly, if you look at it, there's only one piece of negative sentiment of a quarter of the people being afraid of job security. You got that sexy American looks?
27% of workers are more worried about the security of their job now than they were back in January. But one generation is more concerned than the rest. Bankrate senior economic analyst Mark.
I mean, I'm certain it's the younger generation. Gen Z right now is very doom and gloom. And not all of it is without merit, for sure.
Mark Hamrick is here to talk about which generation and why that is. Good morning, Mark. So why are more people worried now than in January?
Oh, yeah, mate.
I'm sure various individuals, they all have their own unique reasons, at least to some degree, for feeling more anxious. But it is interesting in the sense that this anxiousness prevails more predominantly among millennials, as well as those who are making
millennials, not Gen Z. Okay. Interesting. Mark Say from Labubu, Matcha, Dubai Chocolate, and Stanley. Fear-mongering horse shit. Just going over the data that came out today. I don't know. Maybe.
Under $50,000. We also see a political sort of bent to it, where this concern about job security rising has become more so for.
Okay. Wow. So honestly, I really thought it would be Gen Z. They're very doom gloom about everything, but I'm not surprised to also see millennials, Gen Z or Gen X and Gen Z combined. But even still, this is still a decently pretty small minority than I would think. Really thought more people would be like all scared, you know? I think my job will be replaced by AI as a teacher. I don't see that as being one of the insta jobs. You know, it might be one of those like AI situations where it's like it could be, but like people will advocate for that one to not be the replaced job because I don't know if parents want AI to teach their kids. So maybe in like 100 years, but probably not in our lifetime, right? Everything with AI is such a guess though, so I have no fucking idea. I wouldn't take that seriously because who the fuck are any of us? No one's, even the experts on AI have no idea what's coming or what impact it's going to have on the market. Yeah. Are Gen Z employed? Fair point.
Republicans or rather, I should say, for Democrats than Republicans, and more so for independents than Republicans. When we think back about where the job market was a couple of years ago, it was widely described as red hot when we saw the
It was incredible. Best job market I could think of in almost human history. Is fucking insane.
nation's unemployment rate in the mid 3% range, historically low. And in a way, that was a suboptimal situation in the sense it was also associated with high inflation. And so what we've seen since then is that the job market is normalized. It hasn't fallen out of bed, but job search times are taking longer. And obviously, people are feeling less secure about where they are with their jobs.
That generational divide is interesting to me. Why is it that my generation, I guess I'm a geriatric millennial, why are we more concerned about job security
Good looking dude. I'm a young millennial. He's an old millennial? Fuck, I want to look like him.
now? I guess that's people from early 30s to mid to late 40s.
Well, we live in, I don't have to tell anybody this, but it bears underscoring, and that is we live in highly volatile, dynamic times. And the pacts that existed to some degree between employers and employees decades ago have largely ceased to exist. That was somewhat associated with unionization.
You thought I met the guy on the right? He's a handsome guy too. He's just going to age worse over time.
Where that was a more prevalent factor in our society. It wasn't that unusual for people to spend many years with one employer. And of course, that has gone by the wayside. And so you really are sort of out there to fend for yourself. And younger workers, both members of Generation Z as well as millennials, are those, fortunately, in the best position to improve their lot. That's the good news. And perhaps seize upon opportunities in this innovative, dynamic workforce. And so I don't want to be, let's say, discouraging people in the current environment. I think there's tremendous opportunity out there, but perhaps we.
Yeah, but the opportunity is shifted. It's not you just get into an engineering job. Now a lot of things are AI focused, and you certainly ain't getting into the federal workplace unless you're like working for ICE or something.
We just need to level set our expectations to think about the fact that this isn't the job market of a few years ago.
Right.
And we're still at a 4.1% unemployment rate.
Well, Mark, folks are getting ready to head out
4.2 now.
to their jobs that they might be concerned about right now. So in our last couple seconds, what can people do to kind of give them some hope?
Make sure your skills are where they need to be, not only for today, but for tomorrow. Make sure your networks are activated on a place like LinkedIn in the virtual world, and maintain.
I fucking hate it. Oh, I'm so happy to be out of that game. Oh my gosh.
Your contacts, not only when you absolutely need help to find a job, but maintain those contacts while you're still employed, and then it's easier to make a transition.
Yeah, that social network, your friends, people you know, is golden for life. Mark Hamrick, thanks so much. I'll be reaching out to you soon.
Okay. He'll be reaching out. They'll be hanging out. Besties. Absolute besties. Let's see what X is saying on the job report thing. Trump announced he's firing the U.S. Okay, let's see. I was just informed that our country's job numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica McEntarfer, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the job numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. This is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000, and then again right before the 2024 presidential election. In August and September by 112,000. These were records. No one can be that wrong. Question mark, I guess. We need accurate job numbers. I have directed my team to fire this Biden political appointee immediately. She will be replaced with someone much more competent and qualified. Important numbers like this must be fair and accurate. They can't be manipulated for political purposes. McEntarfer said there were only 73,000 jobs added. A shock! But more importantly, that a major mistake was made by them. 258,000 jobs downward in the prior 2 months. Similar things happened in my first part of the year, in the first part of the year, always to the negative. The economy is booming under, quote, Trump, unquote, despite a Fed that also plays games, this time with interest rates, where they lowered them twice and substantially just before the presidential election. I assume in the hopes of getting Kamala elected. How did that work out? Jerome, quote, too late. unquote. Powell should also be put, quote, out to pasture, unquote. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You're welcome. Post office hiring nationwide? Yeah. Go ahead and just load my mailbox with junk that I'll never open. Queuing on my turkey? Okay. If that's what you get from reading this. So interesting. Okay. So he directed his team. Did they fire him? I bet there's probably going to be a lawsuit. Oh, you can't fire them as a political appointee. Blah, 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 blah. So I guess we'll probably just have to see how that goes, right? There's always a lawsuit following some kind of firing of some kind, right? Just finished a gold mine financial audit. Poor guy's 100% lost. Yeah, at that. And what was so hard about that episode? It was kind of hard to speak on because do I know the full ins and outs of Ugandan gold mines? No, it hasn't been a passion of mine. But like we've seen people go down this path before in our own lives, right? When they try to go for the crazy insanity. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It is interesting that it's like the Trump administration just revised their own jobs numbers by 258 points by the same account. And then this account posted a shot where he was like, okay, yeah, but it's a Biden appointee. So it's like conflicting there. Wait, what the fuck? This is two accounts of the same guy. Who's Brian Tyler Cohen? It's a lot of followers. More followers than me because nobody follows me on X. It's like the only social media I've never been able to get off. Yeah, this kind of fucking sucks. U.S. stocks fall after the worst job report since the end of the pandemic. Yeah, today's market was not thrilling, but we're still pretty good over a year, right? We're still looking. So this is today, and over the last 5 days, obviously this looks bad. But if you look year to date, I'm still chilling, going from 500 to 580 to 621. Go over just 1 year. Look at it, 543 to 621, 5 years. You know, it's like, woo, this was golden making money opportunity, though. If we face something like this again, sure, it was a little annoying for a couple months, right? But, whoo, it's a great time to invest in the market. He's a center-left commentator. Interesting. Wait, I thought he got banned. I don't know. I guess now he's on there now. Economy's burned when the Zootopia 2 trailer just dropped. You only report when the stocks fall. Well, because that's like the exciting thing. Yeah. Stock market's usually mostly up. So when it has a big dip, it's more interesting news, right? There's a real Soviet, North Korean style. After the dismal jobs report, Trump is going to fire people who compile the data and replace them with hacks, says Ron Filipowski. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely negative news mostly being posted for the current administration with today's numbers. And even I, as a senior level CISO, worry about the current employment volatility in the IT world. It takes a minimum 6 months to find a CISO position. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, even Gavin Newsom's jumping on this. So I have a feeling we're mostly going to see accounts from the left since it was negative reports for the right today. Recently, since it's been mostly positive reports from the right, we've been more seeing posts and things we talk about on the stream of negative things towards the left from the right, but now we're seeing negative things from the left to the right. Why is Virginia Tech trending? Hopefully not as their usual reason. I guess that was only once. May, June, July, the weakest 3-month period of job growth since COVID. If you throw out 2020, it's the weakest 3-month period since 2010. Yeah, but why would you throw out... If we throw out one of the periods, it's like, okay. Thought this was a typo. In the last 4 months, native-born Americans have gained 1.8 million jobs. Meanwhile, 1.5 million foreign-born workers, legal and illegal, lost a job. A sharp reversal in the last few years. We do love a Fred report. Fred report's pretty yummy. Yeah, that is a substantial decrease, and then a good little bump up for native-born. Why is the foreign one so much substantially higher? Interesting. Fred report, not bread report, but I would also enjoy a bread report. Remember when people were outraged by job revisions under the Biden administration? Not really. I honestly don't, but I would just have to go back. Parker, is this the guy that tried to get CPS called on a random dude? Nah, different Parker. White twink, regardless. Here's finally a voice from the right because we were just mostly getting left on there. And it's not fun if you don't get a diversity worldview. I was told 6 months ago that Americans losing jobs and foreign burn getting jobs was an irreversible demographic fact. Turns out you just needed a new president and new immigration policies, says J.D. Vance. The BLS magically summoning 258,000 jobs. Morning Brew's a pretty good account. It's actually pretty funny. Yeah. Hey, Caleb Hammer stream fans, make sure you get your financial score for free. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com or dollarwise.com.
It's free. See where you stand in the world of finances.